What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video. Here for another reaction and analysis video of the F1 2020 liveries that are being shown in these last few days. Today we're going to do of the Renault. I did with the Red Bull in the beginning of the afternoon, and this livery of the Renault was released a few minutes later after I posted that video where I made some little analysis of the Red Bull RB16, and I just want to say thank you for the impact of that video had. It was absolutely amazing. 15 likes, despite the number of dislikes being like 15 versus 6. It had a lot of views, and I got some subs, and yeah, I'm really happy to see that my work is paying off, and what I can say is just thank you and give you the best content as I possibly can. But we're going to focus now on the Renault, and okay, they made a season opener at 1 p.m. England time, but they didn't show physically the car. They just showed on Twitter, on social media. I saw first on Twitter some renders that and they put of the car, and as you can see, it's a black Renault, which it looks good, but I just want to tell you, this is not going to be their livery they're going to use throughout the season. It's going to be their pre-season livery. This means that they're going to use this livery during pre-season. That is going to be this black car. It's not the first time that Renault is doing this. They did so when came back to the spot in 2016. They used a black livery, and then they turn out to the banana car just a few days before the season open at Albert Park. So for the fans on F1 community that like black, just already want to tell you, this is not going to be the livery that's going to use during the season. It's going to be just pre-season testing, which I'm happy. Despite liking black, I think it's a color that is very hard to look good in an F1 car, in my opinion. I think the Renault like this would be really dull, I should say. Despite black being one of my favorite colors, I think it's very hard to make an F1 car look good from my point of view. But what I can say, yeah, it looks pretty good in my opinion. We're going to have a one-off livery after Red Bull not having a camo was kind of disappointed, and Renault mitigated that pain, I should say. And to be honest, there's not much to talk about this livery, because Renault didn't want to show the car live, which means there are two options. One, the car is not finished. Second, they have some pieces, some parts of the car that they don't want to show to the public, or they have still to finish. And we've seen this from other teams like Mercedes. They didn't show the W11. It was just the car from the last year, the Spec A car, and the Haas was the same thing, where they showed the car from last year as well. And Renault, it seems that is doing as well in this render, but there are some things that are different to their last year's car. There are just two things, but they were the only parts of the car that I found different comparing with the last year's car. So like I said, there's not much to talk, because the renders that Renault put online are not very specific, are very subjective. From my point of view, there's not much to say about it. Definitely going to have more to talk about once we get to the first day at Barcelona. But the first thing is the front of the car. You are seeing the white, the yellow lines on the car. Is because the nose shape, I think, is different. Is a little bit large at the front, but I think I can see some curves. I'm going to remove the yellow lines just to you guys understand what I saw. It's a little bit large, but then it becomes a little bit thinner, and it's not the first time that I've seen this in an F1 car. I see some vibes of the McLaren from the 2018 season, when they brought a second car, I should say, at the Spanish Grand Prix, where the nose become a little bit thinner. So it was a thing that I found. It was in the last year's car, the last year's car of Renault. It was just a uniform nose cone, I should say. This means that the lines of the cone were parallel. There was no narrowing or an enlargement of the nose, so that's a thing that I found different. And then the second thing was on the mirrors. You can see that connection with the mirror that goes for the cockpit, that is represented on the yellow lines. And you can see then a little wing, which is not a thing new at Renault, but last year they had a wing as well on the part below the mirror that is highlighted on red. And this year, it seems, at least in the render, bear in mind that this is not going to be probably the car that we're going to see on pre-season testing. But I was going to say, this year it seems that they just had a wing above the mirror, so that's another thing that I found out different of their last year's car. And basically that's it. There's not much to talk. I have a clue why they choose the black color. It's because they are using this black color as a kind of a camel livery, and not really a camel, but the black color sometimes can hide some curves of the car, and with this color they can hide some parts of the car that any of the teams or cameras also can watch pretty well in once the car hits the track. So that's my theory, I should say, why the car looks black. Maybe this is a good way to hide some components of the car that the teams don't want to know. But guys, that has been the video. Not much to say about it. Looks good. It seems the renders look good, but these angles that Renault posted on social media are really weird, and we're going to have to wait until the first day of testing, day 17, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. I think it is 17. Once this car gets on the track, maybe here at that stage we can start to talk about more precisely of the new features, the new parts of this car. But probably it's going to be hard to find those parts, like I said, because of the black color, because it's a good camouflage, the black color, from my point of view. But once again, guys, that has been the video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smash like and subscribe, and if new to see plenty more Formula 1 content. It really motivates me to make more. I know that the game is missing on the channel, but tomorrow is going to be just one reveal. Is going to be of the McLaren, and then I'm going to post another video of gaming, because that's the answer of the channel. So don't worry, I'm going to come back with the normal format of the channel once this all these reviews are over. So I hope you guys understand, and once again, thanks for the support that you guys are giving in these last few days. I'm not a pro in these analysis and reviews, but the feedback has been really good, and what I can say is thank you, give you the best content as possible. So once again, my name has been Tom, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time, but for now, it's goodbye.